Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the April 9th River Falls City Council meeting. First thing we do is stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Chrissy, can I have a roll call, please?
Bierstead.
Here.
Bjork.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Downing.
Here.
Morset.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Odine.
Here.
Okay, next we have approval of the minutes from the March 26th regular meeting and the workshop meetings. Workshop meeting minutes? Sorry.
I move approval of the minutes.
Second.
First and second, questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next we move on to the approval of the bills with Mr. Carroll.
Mayor and council, I motion for approval of payment of the bills in the amount of $3,535,980.14, subject to the comptroller.
Second.
First and second on the bills, questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next we'll go into public comments. Now it's time, if there's anybody in the audience has anything they'd like to stand up and talk about, now would be the time. If you do come forward, please fill out the sign-in request up there and name, address, phone number. Yep, and we do have a 2-minute time limit.
Short and sweet and efficient.
Yep,
My name is Benjamin Fox, FOCHS, 2529 Powell Avenue. I'd like to thank the mayor, the council, and staff. It is hard to run government meetings in an efficient manner. Everybody wants to come up here, pound the table, make their statement. I'm sure some of you have seen what's been going on in Ellsworth about the digester down there, and I've been to ones in other areas. It is hard when people get that emotional to have an efficient meeting, and you guys actually do. You guys got it passed. You may have not liked what happened, but you guys actually had a very efficient process for having to do it, and that's a testament to your staff and how they handle problems that affect a lot of people. So I hope you guys all realize that. That's why I like coming to your guys' meetings. I learn stuff. I like that they're online, that there's a full packet I can review beforehand, and that if I have questions, I can talk to staff before the meeting instead of sitting here pounding on the table and asking why you guys aren't listening. So with that, I thank you.
thanks. Anybody else in the audience? Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Mark Maraldi. My wife and I live on 805th Avenue, and I wanted to make a comment about the annexation of the property that's adjacent to that. I'm asking you to, I know last time I heard about this, it was considered, you were considering zoning at R2. And what I'd like to do is ask you to reconsider zoning R1. And I have a few reasons for that. The first reason is that I think it's more in keeping with the character and the value of the properties that are adjacent to it, particularly on the south side of that proposed annexation. I think also it would be more respectful to the persons who own properties adjacent to that proposed annexation because of the years of sweat equity that we've been putting in as far as maintaining the character of our property and the value of those properties. And then finally, just a general comment about R2 versus R1 zoning. I understand that there are per capita efficiencies when you look at R2 versus R1, such as bringing in utilities and things like that, and that all other things being equal, you can get more people into an R2 zone property than you can in R1. But those are really just general comments that you can make about any R2 zoning. And I think what the people who own the adjacent properties are looking for is, can you get beyond the general to the specific? In other words, can you give us compelling reasons why this particular property should be zoned R2 versus R1? I think that would be very helpful for us to hear why in this particular case you would go with an R2 zoning. So, okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Anybody else have anything?
Mr. Mayor, I have a public comment. Thank you. So congrats to Mr. Toland and Bierstead and Morris and Bjork. Congratulations on your reelection. I also want to thank Mike Mitro for running. I choose to speak during our public comment to highlight that we have a trend locally that is also a trend that we see throughout the state and probably throughout the region and nation. We're not getting enough candidates for our local offices. I looked at a study from the Wisconsin Policy Forum that noted that 52% of 188 cities and villages are averaging 0 to 1 candidate per election. The district I'm under to serve in, as an example, District 2, I have not been challenged for the last couple of times. So this is not about these candidates. These are all fine candidates, and it's good that we're here. But we need to have more of you to have a difference as we move forward in things. A vibrant democracy does require different people stepping up, sacrificing their time and family commitments to be a part of this. And so I just want to highlight that because I think oftentimes we get sucked into the national election cycle and we spend a lot of time thinking about that. We probably don't think about the way we can serve elected spots locally. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a public comment. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to recognize National Library Worker Day, which is today, April 9th, and National Library Week. Each year in April, National Library Worker Day recognizes the valuable contributions library staff make every day to their communities throughout their hard work and dedication. The observance takes place annually on the Tuesday of National Library Week. National Library Week, which is this week, is an annual celebration highlighting the valuable role libraries, librarians, and library workers play in transforming lives and strengthening our communities. Thank you so much to all our librarians and library staff for inspiring our community to learn and transforming our library into a welcoming and connected community for everyone. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a comment. In light of our local elections last Tuesday, I received information from our clerk, Amy White, that we had 41% of registered voters vote in River Falls, and that's very high for a spring election. I also want to thank Clerk White and all the many poll volunteers who worked the polls on Tuesday. That is really important and really patriotic work, and you are very much appreciated. So thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Now's the time. Okay. We'll close the council hearing and open up a public hearing on ordinance 2024-01. This is an ordinance annexing certain territory from the town of River Falls to the city of River Falls, N8118 Highway 29, and applying a zoning classification of R2 multiple family density. Is there anybody in the audience has anything they'd like to say about this? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and reopen the council hearing, and I will take a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we approve ordinance 2024-01. Second.
Questions, comments?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. I guess my question's for Mr. Simpson or our city planners, and I maybe get just a little opportunity to share why the zoning of an R2 instead of R1 on this. I'd like to hear.
Yeah, the R2 is consistent with the comprehensive plan. We just went through the process of engaging the community in future land use planning, what they see for as a vision of the community, and as a result of that, the R2 classification would be more consistent with the comprehensive plan. In particular, this is adjacent to planned unit development and some higher density just across the street. It has proximity to a park, and we're looking for ways as a community to build reasonable density into areas, and so R2 seems to be a fit in staff's mind, given those factors.
So what you're saying is the main thing you're asking me as a council member, I believe, to value is the density. Am I correct?
Yeah, we heard in the engagement process through the Focus River Falls process that if we're going to face the challenge of more housing supply in the community, that we have to do that in some ways through density, so that where there's opportunities for infill housing In this case, it's kind of surrounded by existing development, so it's an infill project. It makes sense to us to do some density, and it's R2, so it's not a high density classification. It's a medium density classification, and staff can go through kind of what that means if you're interested. You did get a presentation at the last council meeting, and also there was a discussion at the plan commission, but density is one of the tools that we need to use to try to provide supply. So we get a lot fewer houses on this property, a lot fewer residents, a lot fewer opportunities for people to get housed if you went with R1 zoning.
I appreciate your explanation, Scott. And I think part of what you're saying too is you tried to target it for this particular plan. You didn't go overly high for what they were asking in their build, did you, as a staff?
Yeah, the recommendation on this is specific to this property, considering the comprehensive plan and also looking at adjacent land uses, traffic patterns, et cetera.
All right, well, thank you very much, and I appreciate you explaining that. And it makes a lot of sense to me going through the comprehensive plan process, but I think it's really good to have these conversations so that the community can understand what we're doing to meet housing needs in our community. So I'm in favor of this, and thank you, Scott.
Okay, any other questions?
I just have one comment. I would say this about R2 as well, and a comprehensive plan, and also the need for housing in River Falls. One of our most pressing needs is affordable housing. Small housing, denser housing is, I wouldn't say it may be affordable necessarily, but less unaffordable. And that's an issue that is affecting not only our community, but nationwide.
Okay, thank you.
One other little comment. I know that some of the residents from the town have raised a little concern, but in our staff report, it says 31 single-family houses, and those are going to be located to the south of that parcel. I think one of the other things driving the R2 designation is the desire by the developer to put in a 53-bed supportive housing facility, which will be located on the north side closer to the park, if I understand it right. So both of those are needs in our community. We need a supportive housing facility like that in our community to help address those people who need that kind of service. And then to the south, to the point that was made by the public comment, those are going to be more single-family houses, as I understand it. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next move on to administrators' reports. Scott, if you have anything for us, or if anybody has any questions for Scott?
Just
Now'd
a
be the time.
few updates. You get to see staff a lot of Tuesdays this month. So reminder that April 16th, so next Tuesday, is the council organizational meeting that will be held at 6:30. So that's been our tradition, I think, for a year or two, but it has been at different times, but we've tried to just stay consistent with our meeting schedule. So 6:30 next Tuesday. April 18th is Lineman Appreciation Day. So you get another chance, public comments to talk about that. Earth Fest at the University Center is April 20th from 12 to 4 o'clock. The city is involved in that and a supporter of that event. So we encourage people to take an opportunity to come out and see what there is to do at that. April 19th through 21st is Bluegrass Bourbon and Brews Festival. There's more information. They have their own website, riverfallsbluegrass.com. So if you're interested in that event, learn a little bit more about that. Arbor Day will be April 26th. So we've got a few tree events planned, partnering with the Wisconsin DNR to provide some saplings to, we hope, every fourth grader in River Falls. We're also doing energy education related to that sapling with some curriculum, so the kids will kind of understand what they're getting and their opportunities. So apologies to those parents that don't want tree saplings coming home with their kids, but get prepared now. And if you don't have a spot in your yard, maybe you can find a neighbor or grandparent or somebody that'd be interested interested in that. We'll also be giving away saplings at the Earth Fest, just in our general efforts to get those trees. I would remind folks that sometimes it seems like the smaller trees don't make much of a difference. But if you recall, when we've talked about the emerald ash borer, and we're cutting some pretty large trees down, and then we're replacing those with species that might be 1 inch in diameter. If you recall from the forestry department, actually when you start with a smaller species, the trees tend to have better vibrancy. So they don't, larger trees, when you move them, kind of sit there for a while and go, wait, I was happy where I was, why are you moving me? So even these saplings can have a real impact on the community if people can get a chance to put those out there. So I'd be happy to take any questions. I echo what the council members said. In particular, I think the election staff did an excellent job, handled a good crowd, worked with the Badger books, the electronic poll books successfully again, and I think provided a pretty easy and efficient way for people to get in and out of locations. Appreciate our partners, the university and the school district, who also help host those voting sites. So I'd be happy to take any questions you might have.
Okay. Anybody got anything for Scott? Okay. Thanks, Scott. Move on. I'd like to make a few appointments to some boards. I'd like to reappoint Michael Metro to the library board through July of 2027. And I'd like to appoint Amber Bjork through May of 2027 to the utility advisory board. And I'll take a motion on that.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we accept your appointments.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, then we have a couple proclamations here. The first one is the 2024 Arbor Day proclamation, and Mr. Downing will read this for us.
Whereas trees are vital resources in the city of River Falls, across Wisconsin, the nation, and the world, and whereas trees help to combat climate change, conserve energy, filter our air, and intercept stormwater runoff from entering our waterways, create jobs through a large forest products industry, provide wildlife habitat, and make our homes, cities, and countryside more livable and beautiful, and whereas human activities, along with acts of nature, threaten our trees, creating the need for concentrated action to ensure the future of our rural and urban forests. And whereas each year in late April, Arbor Day is celebrated as people across the country pay special attention to the wonderful treasure our trees represent and delicate themselves to the continued health of our forest. Now therefore be it resolved, our Mayor Dan Toland of River Falls do hereby proclaim April 26, 2024 to be Arbor Day in the city of River Falls, Wisconsin. Be it further resolved that I urge all citizens to become more aware of the importance of trees to their well-being and to participate in tree planting programs that will ensure a healthy and green city and an inheritance for future generations in River Falls. Given under my hand and seal of the city of River Falls this 9th day of April, 2024. Thank you, Mayor Toland.
Thanks, Sean. Okay, next up, Mr. Morissette will read one for Purple Up Day.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the privilege of reading this, and it has special meaning to me. My daughter and son-in-law, who is a lieutenant in the 82nd Airborne, are here tonight, and I will have a military grandchild in November. So, thank you. And I wore my purple shirt today, too, in recognition of that. Kind of by accident, but I had it on anyway. Whereas the children of military personnel are often left without the love and care of a military parent due to being called away for an extended period of time and faces issues that non-military children do not face, and they reside in our communities. Now therefore be it resolved that Dan Toland, Mayor of the City of River Falls, hereby proclaims April 15th, 2024 as Purple Up Day in honor of our military children residing in River Falls, Wisconsin. Be it therefore resolved that he invites citizens to demonstrate their support of military children by wearing the color purple, which represents the results of combining all colors of the military in honor of children residing in River Falls. Given under his hand and seal, the city of River Falls, this 9th day of April, 2024.
Thank you, Scott. Okay, next we're going to recess into closed session per Wisconsin State Statutes 19.851E for the following purposes: deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. To wit, possible sale and development of property in Man Valley Corporate Park, Sterling Ponds Corporate Park, and 940 Hanson Drive. And Christie, can we have a roll call, please?
Don't we need a motion?
Oh, we need a motion first.
I make a motion, we
That'll
move into
help.
closed session.
Jeez. Okay,
Bjork,
Yes.
Odine,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Morset,
Yes.
Downing,
Yes.
Bierstadt.
Yes.
okay, we'll go into closed session.
Thank you for letting me read that proclamation.
Oh, well, congratulations.